Okay, what is up, people of the world? Let's go through the astrology. So, we have the Aries new moon that is happening at exactly 3:28 a.m. Central Time on the 24th, early in the morning. So, we are going to talk about the Aries new moon. The sun and the moon are together in Aries, and we're going to draw on the chart. Here we go. Okay, the sun and the moon together in Aries at 4 degrees. And this new moon is also conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer. So we're going to talk about that. It's within a 1 degree orb. And we're going to go into the Saturn Pluto conjunction that's been happening. Okay, let's get the drawing working. Okay. Cool. So, all right, new moons are a time of new beginnings. It is planting new seeds of intention. And with the new moon being in Aries, well, this is the start of a new year, right? Aries is the start of the cycle. So it's a new astrological year. I know that we all, well, maybe not all of us, but are taught that the new year starts on January 1st, and that's when you should start your new year intentions and blah, blah, blah. But actually, it's right now. Right now is the time when you should be setting new intentions for the year, what it is that you're wanting to grow, planting these seeds right now at the time of this new moon in Aries. So this is the first new moon of the astrological new year. And and we have been going through it. So to better understand what it is that we are moving through now, what's to come, what this new moon energy represents, I want to kind of preface it with what we've been moving through. So, uh, so we had the Saturn and Pluto conjunction in January, right? Saturn and Pluto, so you can see them now. Saturn here is at 0 degrees. It just entered Aquarius. And then Pluto is still at 24 degrees. Pluto moves very slowly, very, very slowly. And so they were together, exactly together on January 12th. But since this is such a powerful transit, such a powerful aspect that happens, we feel the energy much longer than just the actual day that it happened. We feel the energy, a year leading up to it, and we're moving through it throughout this whole year as well. So to speak to that, to just better understand the general energy that we're going to continue to move through with Saturn and Pluto doing this dance together all throughout history, you can go back and you can see when these two planets have come together, and when they do, it's world changing, life changing events like what we're moving through right now. um, and so let's talk about Saturn and Pluto. So Pluto is the planet of death, of transformation, of evolution. Pluto wants you to evolve at all costs. Pluto is associated with the Scorpio energy. Pluto wants to go deep, go underneath the surface, and bring up to the surface what's been buried, what's been hidden. It wants to expose all of the darkness of the world. Like, let's bring it up here and look at it and do something with it. Then, then we're able to work with it. Then we're able to transform it, to transmute it, to channel that energy to turn it into something useful. And so that is Pluto. And Saturn is the structures of our reality. Saturn is the timekeeper. Saturn rules like government, society, banks, buildings, bridges, like the structures of society that we can see, that we can touch. These are the rules that we have to follow. This is how things work. And so I think we've all known, right, that things have not really been working in the world. Like, we've all felt that there is a big change that needs to take place, from the foundation up. So in order to create something completely new, we have to tear down, to allow a death of the old structures, of the old ways that we've been human, like the old ways we've been showing up in society, how we've been making money, how we've been so focused on work and external external things, external validation, just yeah, the way that we've been moving through the world has not been working. It's not been helpful to humanity or to the earth. And so things need to change clearly. And so Saturn and Pluto coming together has really kind of set off that change. And that is what we're continuing to move through now. It's like, how do we show up in this new world that none of us really have any idea like what the fuck it's going to look like? It's going to be completely different than anything that we've done before. And so we're just, yeah, we're figuring it out as we go along, and we're having hope and accepting this situation, accepting what's taking place. But we're being so mindful of how we like buy into the energy that is so readily available, like people feeding the fears and the hysteria and just the panic. And so at this time of the new moon, new moons, new beginnings, it's in the sign of Aries. Aries is about the self. It's your sense of self, like your identity. How do you move through the world? How do you handle things when life gets weird and crazy? How are you showing up for yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you able to assert yourself, to have strong boundaries? Are you able to, adapt and to adjust? Aries is, okay, so let's talk about the Aries energy with this new moon, the sun and the moon together in Aries. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. It is, fire is very intuitive in a different way than the water element is. Water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy, and fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And fire is very instinctive and very intuitive, whereas it's like they receive, the information, they get like however the information comes through, whether they get a flash, a download, just a sudden knowing of what it is that they need to do. And fire just does it, right? Fire just acts upon that feeling or that, intuitive hit. It's just moving forward and taking action and knowing that they have the ability to figure it out later. They just feel called to do something and they do it. And so right now we are all, it's like we're in the cocooning phase, before we turn into a butterfly, if you will. We're in this period of pausing and going inwards, like being forced from society, being forced from the government, depending on where you are in the world. But a lot of people are being forced to kind of isolate themselves, to go inward, to be alone more, to have more, internal reflective time, and to figure out how they want to be now moving forward. So it's like we're in the gestation period of like waiting, going inward, healing, getting clear on who it is that you are and what it is that you want to do in the world. Like if you don't have all of the rules of society, if you don't have to show up to your job, we're just seeing things clearly now. We're seeing things differently, like what really matters. What would you do if you didn't have to work? Like, how would you want to spend your time? What would you want to fill your days with? So I think for all of us at the time of this new moon, it's like a reset, it's the start of a new year, and we are a completely different person. So much has changed within the last few months. I mean, Saturn and Pluto coming together is no small aspect. It's huge. It happens every 35-ish years, and you can see with what's going on in the world that it brings lasting change. And even before January, the end of 2019 and now the beginning of 2020, it's been like rapid growth and evolution and change and transformation. And so now we're figuring out how it is we can take, all the pieces of ourselves, how can we like put it into one coherent whole and move forward through the world in a new way. So to get to some of the aspects of this new moon, at the time of the new moon, sun and the moon here in Aries, and we have Chiron conjunct the sun in the moon. So Chiron is conjunct this new moon. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron, it's not just a primal wound that we all have, which is what Chiron represents. It is a wound, but it's also your ability to heal that wound and to like be the bridge for healing. So by you doing your own healing work, tending to the primal wound that you have, then you're able to inspire other people to do that same healing work for themselves, to turn that primal wound into a gift, into into your ability to have more compassion and more empathy for other people, what they're going through, and to use that as a way to like to salve your own wound. So with Chiron and Aries, the wound is to your identity. Aries is your identity, it's your sense of self. And so with Chiron and Aries, it is a wound to how you express yourself, just believing that you have a right to exist, a right to show up in the world and to take up space. Maybe the wound is in regards to your abilities, your belief in yourself, your ability to assert yourself when it comes to like your goals, your dreams, just your boundaries in general. So there's something about this new moon that is touching a primal wound in all of us, Yeah, and with what's going on in the world, the coronavirus situation, I think it's brought up a lot of primal wounds. It's brought up a lot of fear in the collective, and the primal wound of just feeling safe and secure and rooted and connected here on Earth. So I think it's brought to the surface what has been the fears that have been buried, that have been underneath the surface, and now we're seeing it very clearly. So something about this new moon that is deeply healing to our sense of self, to our abilities, our ability to believe in ourselves, what it is that we're wanting to do in the world now, now that the world is shifting and things are changing, and maybe you're having to get creative with the ways that you make money, or how you take care of yourself, what you spend money on. Just we're seeing things from a new perspective. So I think that with Chiron being conjunct this new moon, that maybe it'll take you into a place within yourself where you're feeling things really deeply. Maybe you're feeling the collective pain and sadness, and maybe you're even going backwards in time, like for yourself, reflecting on when you didn't believe in yourself so much, or when you felt like you couldn't take care of yourself, or you couldn't assert yourself, or you couldn't stand up for yourself. And now we can revisit that, we can notice that, and we can plant new seeds moving forward with this new moon on how we want to be throughout this year, how we want to show up, how we want to believe in ourselves and our abilities and our gifts and our and our ability, our willingness to create what it is that we came here to create, and to share that with other people. So you can look at what house this new moon is falling in for you, and that'll give you more insight as to what area of your life you're really starting this new chapter in. Okay, and this new moon is also, so it's squaring the nodes. You can see the north node here and the south node. And it's squaring the nodes, but then we have Uranus that is making a positive aspect to the nodes. So let's speak to that. So the nodes are where we have come from. The south node is what we've done in the past, and the north node is the direction that we're moving towards. And with Uranus, let's start with Uranus, supporting the nodes. So Uranus is the great liberator. It's the planet of sudden change, downloads, awakenings. It's a revolutionary planet. It's here to shake up old stuck energy. And so it's supporting the nodes. It's supporting, the release, the shakeup of this old stuck energy in regards to how we have once done things. The South Node in Capricorn. We've operated from this old set of beliefs, or just standards, or like what it means to be a human, or to be successful, or just we've operated in this way for so long, and we can see it, like the degradation of it. We can see it disintegrating and slowly falling apart. And so I feel that this aspect is really helping us to shake free from the old beliefs, the old structures, the old rules that we've been following that are, it's like killing the planet slowly and killing humanity slowly. Like people happier now than they've ever been because of all of these, you know, having more money or having more material goods or having more like external shit around them. People aren't happier internally, and so that is what's being pointed out here with Uranus also making a positive aspect to the North Node. So it's like, you know, the North Node in Cancer, the collective North Node in Cancer, this is for all of us, the collective, the direction that we're moving towards with it being in Cancer is what really matters. Like Cancer is the home and family, and you know, it rules your emotions, your ability to process and to digest your emotions. It's like building a safe space within yourself and knowing that all of these things that we've been reaching for externally, it's not the answer. Like people aren't happier, the world's not doing better because of everyone having more shit. What we need to do is to go inward and to cultivate that, like that inner security, the inner stability, you know, within each of us, so that especially in times like these, despite what's going on in the world, that we can feel safe and we can feel at home. uh yeah, we can feel at home within ourselves. And with Uranus, it is sextiling, making a positive aspect to this North Node here in Cancer. So I think that it can just help us, you know, maybe to see things a little bit more clearly. Maybe you have some type of download or insight or just sudden awareness as to what really matters. You know, I think people are connecting with loved ones more, reaching out to their family. Just hopefully what's going on in the world is helping people to soften and to accept, to surrender, to spread compassion and love for just other humans, knowing that we're all here together. And what really matters at the end of the day is love and connection and community. And so I think this is is a really positive aspect, helping us to kind of like reawaken to that, to remember what's truly important. Yeah, and the nodes being squared with this new moon, with the sun and the moon that is squaring the nodes, it's also like it's challenging to let go of how things used to be. It's challenging to see things in a completely different way, to see the world as you have known it kind of fall apart. And you need to go inwards and to really cultivate this trust. You know, before the new moon, we had the moon crossover Neptune here in Pisces, and we still have Mercury moving through Pisces. So I feel like this Pisces energy here is helping us to have trust in the divine plan, to trust in to trust in what it is that we cannot see, to trust in something bigger, to know that this is all going on for a reason. And even if we don't know exactly what that is, I mean, I think we can all take some time to get quiet and to go inwards and to really connect with that inner truth that we all hold, knowing that we needed an event like this so big that it touched everybody and affected all of us at the same time, that could really bring people together and remember what it is that actually matters here. So so yeah, even though it could be challenging to see what's going on, to see kind of the fall of so many systems and structures that we like we found identity in the past, now we're needing to create a new identity. And that's what I feel this new moon in Aries is all about, is either it's creating or it's accepting this identity that you have been building, or that you felt coming for a long time, that you felt inside of yourself like growing for a long time. And now this is like the push from the universe. Well, right now I feel like we're kind of in a contraction. We're like inside, and we're before the butterfly comes out of the cocoon. It's like, okay, what's important, what really matters to me, before you're coming out as in a new form, as a new person with new values, with new things that are important to you, with a new outlook on life. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Saturn's move into Aquarius. So at the time of this new moon, we've had Saturn. It moved into Aquarius just a few days ago. It's only been here for a very short time, but it's at 0 degrees of Aquarius. My nose. Okay. So Saturn moves in like 2.5 to 3 year cycles. And so with Saturn moving into Aquarius, This is a new cycle, another new cycle. We're just like starting so many new cycles here. It truly is. So it's been in Capricorn for 2.5 to 3 years, and now it's shifted into Aquarius. It's going to go retrograde later this year, as a whole bunch of planets will start to actually here soon. They'll start to retrograde, and so then that'll be a time to go inwards even more and to reevaluate things. But Saturn will retrograde back into Aquarius, or into Capricorn, but it's officially entered Aquarius. So Saturn loves to be in Capricorn and Aquarius. It used to be considered the ruler of Aquarius. Now it's associated with Capricorn. So either way, it's comfortable in both of these signs. Saturn, again, is the structures, the systems, the rules that we follow. And with it in Capricorn, it was more focused on like kind of playing by the rules, and it wasn't so much interested in a huge change or revolutionary energy. And now that it's moved into Aquarius, you know, Aquarius is the ultimate humanitarian in the zodiac. Aquarius is the water bearer. So it's an air sign that is pouring water onto the rest of humanity, you know, spreading like compassion and acceptance for the rest of humanity. It's an intellectual sign. So, you know, an air sign, they're very logical and, yeah, very brilliant energy. But Aquarians is the sign that's associated with revolution and with change and with futuristic thinking. And so I think as it's, you know, shifted into Aquarius already, we're feeling that that shift or that call to have more community, more connection. Maybe there's more trading or exchanging services, or you know, it's the humanitarian energy. So working with people wherever they're at and trying to like better humanity. It's not just about what do people have and what can they give me and how much money is this going to make me, but it's like, what are we doing to the world? How are we treating each other? Like, let's refocus, let's reframe what is important. Let's create new structures that support the people here and that support the earth. Aquarius, yeah, they want to understand the rules. They want to understand what the rules are so that they can break them, so that they can, you know, go into the future. Like in their head, they're always thinking to the future and what are like these different systems that I can bring back from the future to revolutionize these current things that we have in our world. So how can I make these systems better? How can I better support the people and the earth? So yeah, so our views in regards to how these systems need to change, I think we're thinking about it differently from a more humanitarian point of view, because Saturn's moved into Aquarius, and I think we can we can see this happening globally. It's just really awesome to have words to put to what's going on via the astrology. So what else do we have? Yeah, okay. I want to share the cards that I pulled for this new moon. Well, I got the High Priestess card. And so this card really represents this is like the guardian of the subconscious, being able to enter into different realms, being able to connect your conscious mind to your subconscious. And so I think at this time, you know, we've all had a lot more time to slow down and to reflect and to go inward and to remember what truly matters, and to notice the stories that are within our subconscious that are holding us back in some way, or that are feeding the fear and like the mass hysteria going on. Like, what is operating within your subconscious that is either causing you to feed into that, or to, you know, stay in a space of acceptance and love and surrender and trust. Like, we've really had time to go inward and to check on those stories, to like sift through our psyche, our subconscious, and to notice what has been resting there. And so yeah, so much has changed over the last few months. We've transformed in so many ways. It's just been, yeah, like rapid growth and transformation. And so now we are stepping into this new world, Aries new moon. This is a new beginning. It's the start of a new fucking astrological year. Like, who do you want to be now moving forward? Aries, the first sign in the zodiac. Like, It's just a birthing energy. It's a moving out into the world. Like, here I am. This is me. Like, how is it? How is your ability to do that? To like, to just put yourself out there and to take up space and to feel like you deserve to be here and you deserve to share your gifts and you deserve, you know, to cultivate and to harness your gifts and the abilities that you have. Like, what is it that you're bringing to the world? What really matters? And it doesn't have to be anything like create these crazy things that, you know, we think it has to look some kind of certain way, but it's like, what is your truth? Like, reconnecting with the truth of who you are and what you're passionate about and what you're excited about, and that is enough. Like, that is what you're here to do. That's what you're here to share. Recognizing your dharma and that it can take so many different shapes throughout your life. You know, maybe the last year or the last few months it looked a certain way, but now the world is changing. You know, we're all changing as well individually, and so who do you want to be? What do you want to share moving forward? What is your truth now? Are you okay moving through the world, taking up space, knowing you deserve to be here, like being stoked on what it is that you're creating and what you're building and what you're sharing with the world? And if not, like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, let's reevaluate some things. Let's make some changes. Let's make some shifts as to how you're showing up on the day to day, so that it's in alignment with your truth, with what you feel your reason for coming to earth is. Like, why did you come here? What are you doing? If you're living a life that is just you're not happy in, now is the time to change it. And I think we're all, it's beautiful that we're all getting so much time to really reflect on that and to, you know, to look at our jobs and to look at what it is that we're doing on the day to day, you know, at this time, while when we're not able to go and do those things, we're being, you know, kind of forced to stay at home and to reflect really. um, so if you're not at a place of being happy with what you're doing, then you need to change that. There's no reason to continue trying to stay stuck doing what you've been doing. It's just to stay in this old world when things are changing. The world has changed and it needs new things from you. And now it's this, at the time of this new moon, this is your job to, you know, maybe it's touching a deep wound within yourself and like self-doubt and just disbelief and feeling like you don't have what it takes. But yeah, I'm going to invite you to revisit those stories and to rewrite the script around that. Like, who created that? You did not come into the earth with those beliefs. So where did you pick them up at? And what is the work that you need to do around those stories to detangle that shit and to realize that you deserve to be here. You deserve to take up space. You deserve to share your message. And I think that this Aries new moon is kind of like that burst of fiery energy. Even if you don't feel it right at this time, it's like, yeah, it might take a few days to kind of kick in or to feel that inspiration. You know, despite what's going on in the world, you can still feel that within yourself. You can still cultivate that sense of inspiration and just passion for what it is that you're doing or the direction that you're moving in. You know, we've got Venus that's been moving through Taurus. Uranus has been moving through Taurus as well. This is a very slow transit. It's like 7-ish years that Uranus will move through Taurus, which is just shaking up our values. You know, Venus moving through Taurus right now, it's reminding us, like, Venus loves to be in Taurus. What really matters? You know, Taurus rules our self-worth. It rules our confidence. It rules our trust in our gifts, our ability to share our gifts, to speak to our gifts. It's associated with the throat chakra. You know, Taurus is our ability, again, to feel safe and to feel secure within our body, to feel that sense of stability and security despite what's going on. So I think with Venus moving through Taurus, we've just gotten a dose of like, of what really matters. Where do you place your money, your energy, your time? Like, what are your values? How are your values shifting as the world shifts? Yeah, and I think above all else, you know, the North Node in Cancer, Saturn moving into Aquarius, it's like we're building a new world. Yeah, new moon in Aries, like we really are creating a new world, and it's going to require new things from each of us. So how are you able to rise to the occasion, to accept what's going on, to adapt, and to alter gifts or your services or what it is that you're sharing. Like, how can you better support the collective while still supporting yourself? But what needs to change, you know? And if you've not been happy doing what you've been doing, now is a beautiful time to really reflect on what it is that you're wanting to grow, who you're wanting to be, what you want to stand for as we move into this new year, astrological new year. Okay, if you'd like to book a reading with me, you can do so through my site at cosmicguidance.online. I will leave that in the description box. And I have altered my prices. I've made a sliding scale for the prices. So if you would like a reading, now would be a good time. I would like to offer the readings to as many people as possible. So, okay, that's all for now. Thanks for being here.